Hello, Year 11. Welcome to this last minute video. I'll probably do this in two parts. This is the intermediate stuff in the booklet that we did um, the day before the exam. So it's our predicted paper 1 paper. Um, I have done the product of primes. I have chosen to go with 7 times 100 to start, but they are the prime numbers. I'm probably looking to divide by as I go through 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s. That's meant to be a 3. Apologies about the pen not being great, but hopefully you can work out what I'm saying here. So, yeah, that's my answer there. My part B could have led on from here. It could have said, what would I need to multiply 700 by to make it a square number, right? Well, if you look at our answer, the 2 has got an even indice, the 5 has got an even indice, but the 7 hasn't. There's only one 7 in the answer. But if I then multiplied that by 7, so add in another power of 7, then all of my numbers would have even indices and all of them would be square numbers. So the big number would be a square number, if that makes sense. Hopefully this makes more sense in part B. So it's telling me that this huge number here is equal to 2 to the power 25. Well, that isn't a square number because 25 is an odd indice. Or an odd power, it would need to be 24 or 26 in order to be an even number. So I'd have to times it by 2 again, I guess, to make it 2 to the power 26. Okay. A lot of people I noticed today didn't particularly like this question. Look, the OCW is this. I'm going to make sure here that I set out this properly. So I'm going to properly OCW this question. So my first bullet point is angle A and B add up to, and because angles in a triangle add up to 180, if I take the 25 that I know away from 180, so this is my workings out, okay, I get 155. So angle A and B add up to 180. This is my first bullet point. So I'm keeping this nice and structured what I'm doing. So the next thing I want to do now is share that in the ratio. So I'm going to put to share in the ratio 2 to 3. Now, I'm going to keep going here because there's not a lot of room, but this needs to be structured for you, okay? So the layer of the sum is there are 5 parts to this ratio. I need to share the 155 into 5 parts. Again, you could do a little bit of working out for that, but that's 31. So A is equal to 2 times 31, which is 62, right? And B is equal to 3 times 31, which is 93. And I'd get one of my OCW marks there for quite nice, structured, bullet-pointed workings out, okay? The second OCW mark, something I haven't put in, is units. Here, that 155 is 155 degrees. A is not 62, it's 62 degrees, okay? So whatever the units of the question are, make sure you include those in OCW questions. Standard form, nothing to say here, but I'll give you the answer. It's a small number, so I'm going to be jumping the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 places down the number, so that's minus 4 there. Divide and multiply, division and multiplication, standard form sums, we do in standard form. Half of 7.2 is 3.6 times 10, and if we're dividing, we take away the little numbers. 6 take away minus 2. Well, if I'm taking away a minus, I'm adding it, so that's 8, and that's in standard form, so we're finished, which is why it's only a 1 marker. Whereas adding and taking away, you're better off as numbers. So we've got 47 with 4 zeros, take away 62 with 3 zeros, but if I work backwards, 0, 0, 0, and then 2, 6. If you take those away, guys, I am really sorry about how bad this pen looks here, okay, but I'm borrowing one from there. I get 804. Then I put my answer back into standard form, which is 4.08. Got to include that 0 there, right? Because it's part of the number. The other zeros on the end, not so important. Times 10 to the power jumping up the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Then diagrams. Okay, 12 say they can sing both songs. 18 say they can sing Bread of Heaven. That 18 includes that 12, so there's 6 there. So we've got 18 in the circle for Bread of Heaven. 5 say they can't sing either song, they go outside. And I'm told there are 30 altogether, so the missing place needs to make these numbers add up to 30, which is 7. One of these people is chosen at random. What is the probability they can sing Hen Wlad Fy N'adau? Don't fall in the trap of putting 7. There are 19 people that can sing Hen Wlad Fy N'adau out of the 30 people altogether. Okay, parallel lines. In order for lines to be parallel, they need to have the same gradient, but we really need these lines to look like this. We need the y one side, we need y to be the subject of the formula, as it were. At the moment, we've got 2y being the subject of the formula here, so we need to half both the things on this side. So this line has a gradient of 2.5 and a y-intercept of -2. This line also has a gradient of 2.5, so is parallel to that first line. Which one of these lines intersects this line on the y-axis? In other words, it's a funny way of saying which one of these has the same y-intercept. That's a terrible drawing. So I'm looking for which one has the same y-intercept, which also has a -5 y-intercept, which is this one here. All right. Be really careful with squaring negative numbers, okay? 3 squared is 9. So this is 7 take away 3 squared, which is 9, so -2, okay? However, -1 squared is +1. If you square a number, it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, the answer is positive. So it's 7 minus, and -1 squared is 1, so it's 7 take away +1, 7 take away 1, so that's 6. Should have put equals -2 there. However, I'd encourage you, when you draw it, I'm not going to draw this, right? I'll give you the first point, -2, 3, which is kind of there-ish, isn't it? And whatever. And then -1, 6 is there. And whatever it does, make sure it's a smooth U shape or N shape. It's either going to be sort of an upside down U or a right way around U, I guess. Okay, if it's not, if one of your points looks weird, go back and check that you've squared it properly. And like that, okay? Right, some basic algebra. I think my pen has gone for a minute. Let's get it back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, so factorize this. Yeah, we could take 3 out. We could take an x out. And we'd be left with 4x plus 1y. Don't need to write the 1, but if you've written 1y, it's not such a big issue there. Okay, so that's that. I want to pick up on another type of factorizing that's a weird one. This one, okay? 9x squared minus 25. And if it said factorize that, all right, and it looks very similar to the one we have factorized, but there's no number that can come out, right? Because there's no number that goes into 9 and 25. And there's no x that can come out because there's only x squared in the first term, not the second one. So you'd be like, wow, how do I factorize that? This is a special one called the difference of two squares, right? 9x squared is a squared number and 25 is a squared number. Now the more obvious one is 25. 25 is 5 squared, right? 9 is 3 squared and x squared is x squared, right? I'd cross it, but I don't need to put the squared there. So 9x squared is 3x times 3x and 25 is 5 times 5. So this is the difference of two squares. Now to factorize this, and I know it doesn't quite belong here, but I'm just mentioning it at where we are, you add the things being squared, and then in the second bracket you take away. So it's a weird one because it's actually a double bracket, whereas most things with two terms are a single bracket. So just be aware of it, okay? Expanding brackets, nothing to say there. Times them both by 4. Solving linear equations. To solve linear equations, linear means x. Quadratic means x squared. Okay? If equations are linear, we need the letters one side, so we're going to bring this over with the letters, and we need the numbers the other side. So we get 8x plus 3x equals 17 plus 38. It's kind of like making x the subject of the formula, isn't it? All right. So it's 55, and x is 55 divided by 11, which is 5. Right. Later on, we'll look at how we solve quadratic equations by factorising. So in paper 1, we will be factorising somewhere. Intermediate change in the subject of the formula shouldn't involve factorising. That's why it's intermediate. So we've got to expand brackets. The only subject term is this one. So the 2y can go over here as minus 2y. The opposite of timesing by 2 is to divide by 2. So this side needs to be divided by 2. However, I have spotted that there are things I can simplify this. I've got 7y take away 2y, which is 5y minus 3. But also then I've got to divide by that 2, which is before the x. Linear inequalities, good old cheap question. So if we write the people involved, there might be 2 people, 3 people, I don't know, right? In this case, it's Rashid and Ivion, okay? Rashid owns N sheep. Ivion has 4 times as many. Rashid buys 17 more sheep. Ivion sells 8 of his sheep. Ivion still has more than Rashid, so we need to get the inequality set up. Okay, now we need to solve this, but I saw a couple of people today move fell into this trap of going, oh, I always need to get my letters on the left and my numbers on the right. I don't think that's the right thing to do here, because if I bring 4n over to the left, it's going to be negative, and I'm going to end up with minus n's. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the numbers this side, bring the minus 8 over here as plus 8. Okay, leave the 4n here and bring the plus n over as minus n. That way, guys, I have 4n take away. Always remember a letter by itself is one of those things. Okay, so 4n's take away 1n. I use the phrase elephant a lot today, talking about words. It's like 4 elephants take away an elephant, which is 3 elephants, right, 3n. If anybody else is watching this video, they're going to think, what is going on there? So divide by 3. Now, n is bigger than 25 divided by 3. And my question is, find the lowest possible value of n. Well, if n is bigger than that, 3 goes into 25. Well, the answer to this, without me working it out, is like 8 and a bit. 8.3 it is, 8.3333. But doesn't matter if we know that. It's more than 8. The answer to this is more than 8. So the lowest n can be is 9. Okay? Parallel lines. This angle is 113 because it is opposite this one. This is 67 because they add up to 180. And this is 67 because they add up to 180, or because it's opposite that. So there are only 2 angles in that group. Okay? This group is identical to this group. So B is 67 because it corresponds with the 67 here. A corresponds with the 113 up here, and C corresponds with the 113 here. Okay, be careful to look out for Z angles, which are called alternate angles. So here my alternates would be this 67 and this 67, just in case we don't get the sort of full groups, we just see that sort of picture. All right, so we're looking for that being alternate to that. Okay. All right, I'm not really worried about this, guys. I think we concentrate on this for paper 2. However, Pythagoras theorem, is that, or we would use square, square, add square root. If you see a right angle triangle and there's a missing side, you might have to do this in paper 1, but I am far more confident in that in paper 2. Same with trig. It's a cert for paper 2. What I've done here is, because you haven't got a calculator, I've had to tell you what sine 30 is. It's almost a giveaway here that you're using sine. So this is going to be, so if you do it properly, right, where this is the opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, we're trying to find the opposite. So the opposite is equal to sin or sine 30 times the hypotenuse, but we're told that is 0.5. 0.5 times 12, half of 12 in other words, is 6. Okay? All right. But again, let's not worry about that too much. Right. With these, we're going to avoid numbers and pi. I've got a number there. I've got pi there. I've got a number there. I've got pi there. So I'm ignoring those. Now I'm looking at each term separately to see if it's 1, 2, or 3 letters. 1 is length, 2 area, 3 volume. D cubed, volume, R squared H, volume, answer, volume. D squared, area, HW, area, answer, area. D, length, W, length, H, length, answer, length. R on its own, length. R squared, area, answer, none. Mixture, can't happen. Bracket, expand them. But would like to put the W before the bracket, so because that's more normal to see that. But it's D times W and H times W, so it's DW plus HW. That's area plus area. Answer, area. D cubed, volume, DWH, volume, answer, volume. One more I'm going to add. A squared B divided by C, because we haven't got a division one here, okay? A squared B, volume, but I'm dividing by a length. So if you divide by a letter, it reduces the amount of letters down. It doesn't matter if they're different letters, don't worry about that. So it's a volume divided by length, so actually the answer here is area. So just be careful of a division one. Circle theorems. These are tangent ones because we are tangent. Look, these are, right? There are 3 tangent ones. We can name them before we start. We got the party hat one. The party hat one is 2 tangents from the point are equal length. Okay? Now, what I'm going to point out to you, but it doesn't apply here, is if you connected straight across, so ignoring the middle, you went straight across, you've actually got a bit of an isosceles triangle there using that party hat theorem. Okay? But what we can see here, our party hat is kind of on the wonk, but they are equal sizes, right? So what is the length of PA? PA is 12. Why? I'm like a guy. No, yeah, I will write it. Two tangents equal length from point P, or whatever you want just the better the description, the better. So 2 tangents that meet at a point, or 2 tangents that come from a point, doesn't matter, are equal length. Probably better than calling it the party hat theorem. Okay. Other one we've got is 1 tangent, or any tangent basically, that joins to the middle makes a 90-degree angle, like that. So that is a 90-degree angle, and that is a 90-degree angle. So part 2, what is this angle P to A to O? Well, or house is on A, or the roof is on A, so that's 90. Why? Again, theorem, tangent to radius is 90-degree angle, or the angle between a tangent and a radius is 90 degree. The only other one that's to do with tangents is the weird one that's got its own name, right? Where if you go backwards and make a triangle, this angle here is the same as this one, right? Bottom left is top right, and bottom right is top left, okay? And that's called the alternate segment theorem. The alternate segment theorem. Now, based on that, we then ask for the area of these right angle triangles. Or it says the area of the quadrilateral, but it's 2 right angle triangles, okay? So each one is base times height divided by 2. The top one it's got the same base, same height, divided by 2. Add the triangles together, we get 48 centimeters. squared for the area. Okay, base times height divided by 2. Talking about perimeter and area, a little bit more to do. I hope we get towards the end of the intermediate stuff now, but I'm not sure we are. I've got a perimeter of a square of 28. That means all the way around the square is 28. Well, if I divide that, or again, this is OCW, right? I need bullet points here, right? I'm going to have to do it. So each side of the square, that's what I'm trying to work out first. Or I could write to find the side of the square, and then the sum, 28 divided by 4 is 7. So it must be 7, that's 7, that's 7, 7. Good. Great start. I'll write that on there as well. I'm asked for the length DE, but I'm told the area of this is 35. Well, we now know the base is 7. So I'm going straight in on this, right? Length of DE is, and the sum I'm going to do is base times height divided by 2. And I'm going to call that the height. DE is the height. I don't know what the height is, but I know that the area has to be 35. Now, this is another sort of linear equation. We never want fractions solving equations. We need anything that's been divided by needs to go up there as a times. So 7 times h is 70. 35 times 2, so h is 10. So I'd get one of my OCW marks there, and then I'd go, right, how do I get the second one? Okay, each side of the square is 7 centimetres. The length of h is 10 centimetres. Okay, if you were writing something here, you'd be writing centimetres squared, because that's the area, but you, right, so put some unit in, particularly on that final answer. Right, the perimeter of a semicircle is a weird one, okay, with diameter 8, because it's pi times the diameter all the way around the circle, right? The circumference is pi times the diameter. Now, okay, we are going to have to times that by 8. Not the greatest, but it's doable, okay? Times 8, don't be afraid to do little multiplications like this. 8 4s are 32. 8 1s are 8, add 3 is 11, carry 1. 8 3s are 24, add 1 is 25. So that's 25.12, right? But that's all the way around. I then need to, and I'm going to do this here, I need to half that just to get the top, okay, which is 12.56. But that is only from there to there. The perimeter will also involve coming back along here, so we need to add another 8 to that to get 20.56. So just remember, the circumference of a circle is pi times the diameter, and the area of a circle we're going to use now. Calculate the volume of a cylinder. Okay, a cylinder. Maybe worth knowing this one, all right? The volume of a cylinder is not given at the front. Cones and spheres are, but this one isn't. But it's pi r squared, which is the area of the circle at the top, okay, times the height of the cylinder, okay. We're told the radius is 3, so it's pi times 3 squared, and we're told the height is 7. And I've been kind in this question I've written. I've said leave your answer in terms of pi. In other words, I'm not expecting you here to actually times by 3.14 like I was up here. Timesing by 8 is great. But 9 sums, I'm not expecting you to do 63 times 3.14. Okay, so leave your answer. 9 times 7 is 63, and leave pi in your answer is what that means. I hated this. This is not my favourite one at all. Okay. Numbers to be written on the blank card. The mode and median of the 7 numbers are both the same. At the moment, I've got I should probably write these in order. I think that's the kind of logical thing to do here. At the moment, I don't have a mode. There is no mode, right? There are 6 different numbers. My median is in the middle, which is here, right? But again, what's halfway between 11 and 18 is 14.5, and it's not the nicest, right? What I need to do is add another number into this list. so that the median and mode are the same? Well, there's two options I can put there. I can either put another 11, which would then make 11 the median and 11 the mode, or I could put another 18, which would make 18 the median and 18 the mode, right? So either of those answers, I'm plumping for 11, but if you put 18, that's also correct, okay? The mean of an extra number is added to this one, so again, we're going to add another one. The mean is going to be one less than this. So I'd expect you to work at the mean of this, first of all. Add them all together and divide by 3. 14, 27 divided by 3 is 9. If I want one less, then the mean is going to reduce to 8, okay? So we've got 4 numbers with a mean of 8. Therefore, the numbers, to have a mean of 8, the 4 numbers need to add up to 32. They currently add up to 27, so the missing number will need to be 5 to make them add up to 32. So just make sure you show somewhere, maybe circle, if there's no space for an actual answer, circle your final answer. You go, look, this is my final answer here, okay? Oh, actually, there's the space for it. Great, okay. Tree diagrams. Guys, we've got to be past this mistake now, right? Tree diagrams are multiplying questions. Multiply those two, or multiply those two, or multiply those two, or multiply those two. That's what they are, okay? They will sometimes give you a final answer, something that has already been multiplied. The probability of event A and event B occurring is 0.48. That's that answer there, okay? So 6 times what makes that 0.8. Please, please, please read carefully before you just go stick in something like 0.48 in there. That they're not, you know, the big word is and. They've done the times. This is the and. This and this. Okay? So that's 0.2. Right? That's 0.4. And then we can copy these here, 0.8 and 0.2. Now they'll probably ask you for one of these. Right? They want neither event to happen. Event A nor event B, neither happening. So we're going to do 0.4, so that not happening, times 0.2, which is 0.08 or 0.08. The only dodgy one in part B, I guess, sometimes is they might say, what's the probability that one of the events occurs, but not both, right? Well, if we go up there, both have occurred. If we go up, down, one has occurred, just A. If we go down, up, only B has occurred. And if we go down, down, both have occurred. So if it says we want just one event to occur, we'd have to work this one out and this one out. And that is the only time we would ever add up in this question, is if we had to add up 2 different time sums, 2 different combinations. Okay, but that's not the case here. They just wanted this one. Okay. The higher section. That brings the end to this first video. Hurrah, they say. Okay. Come back for the next video, which may or may not arrive shortly. Maybe tomorrow at some point for the higher section. But hopefully that helps you with that.